Mutants of Pripyat, the dark side of radiation. Drone footage sweeps over the abandoned city of Pripyat. The sun casts long shadows over crumbling apartment blocks. Vegetation has overtaken the streets, with trees sprouting from rooftops and cracked asphalt. The eerie silence is broken only by the rustling of leaves and distant bird calls. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and haunting places on Earth, Pripyat, Ukraine. Ever wondered what happens when an entire city is abandoned overnight and left at the mercy of nature? Well, grab a seat because we're about to explore the chilling reality of the Chernobyl exclusion zone. But here's the big question: are there really mutants roaming these deserted streets? Let's find out. The Chernobyl disaster, a glimpse into the past. To understand what's happening now, we need to rewind back to 1986. Picture this. Pripyat was a bustling city, home to nearly 50,000 people. It was built in 1970 to house workers from the nearby Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Life was good. Modern apartments, schools, hospitals, the works. It was a model Soviet city. But in the early hours of April 26, 1986, everything changed. During a late-night safety test, a combination of flawed reactor design and operator error led to an uncontrolled nuclear chain reaction. The result? An explosion that blew the roof off reactor number 4, releasing massive amounts of radioactive material into the atmosphere. First responders rushed to the scene, unaware of the invisible danger, radiation. Their bravery was immense, but the cost was high. Within 36 hours, Pripyat was evacuated. Imagine being told to leave your home with just a suitcase, believing you'd return in a few days, but never able to go back. The Soviet authorities established a 30-kilometer exclusion zone, a no-go area due to dangerous levels of contamination. The implications of that decision are still unfolding today. Understanding radiation and mutations. Alright, let's break down what's actually happening with radiation and mutations, without getting too sciencey. So, radiation is basically energy traveling through space. The dangerous kind, ionizing radiation, can knock electrons off atoms. Think of it like tiny bullets smashing into everything. When this radiation hits living cells, it can damage DNA, the blueprint of life. This damage can cause mutations, changes in the DNA sequence. Not all mutations are bad. In fact, mutations drive evolution. But high doses of radiation increase the chance of harmful mutations, which can lead to cancer or birth defects. But wait, there's more. Adaptation is when organisms adjust over generations to survive changes in their environment. So, are creatures around Chernobyl mutating or adapting? Let's see. The Red Forest. Nature's scarlet wound. Next stop, the infamous Red Forest. Right after the explosion, this lush pine forest turned a reddish-brown color and died off en masse. The trees absorbed extremely high levels of radiation, hence the name, Red Forest. The dead trees were bulldozed and buried, but the area remains one of the most contaminated sites on the planet. But here's the twist: over time, the forest started to regrow. New plants and trees emerged from the radioactive soil. Scientists observed some bizarre changes, like oddly shaped leaves and reduced growth rates. These are signs of genetic mutations caused by radiation. So, is this a recovery or a mutation fest? Well, nature is trying to heal, but the scars run deep. Fauna of the exclusion zone. Wildlife's return. Now, you'd think that high radiation levels would keep animals away, right? Surprise! Wildlife is actually thriving here. Initially, there was a significant die-off of animals due to acute radiation exposure. But over the years, animal populations not only recovered but exploded in numbers. With humans out of the equation, nature had room to breathe. Species like wolves, boars, and bears increased in population. One of the coolest stories is about the Przewalski horse, an endangered species reintroduced into the wild here. These horses are doing quite well in the exclusion zone. It's like a real-life planet of the animals happening right before our eyes. Mutations in animals. Fact versus fiction. So, back to our main question: are these animals mutants? Some studies have found physical abnormalities in local wildlife. Birds with deformed beaks, albino feathers, or cataracts in their eyes. Rodents showing reduced brain sizes and higher mutation rates. But let's debunk some myths. There are no giant, two-headed beasts or superpowered creatures here. No Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles scenario going on. The mutations are often subtle and can affect the animal's health and reproductive capabilities. It's serious, but not sci-fi horror movie material. Scientists continue to study these effects to understand how radiation impacts wildlife over multiple generations. Insect life. Small creatures, big changes. Let's get up close and personal with insects, the tiny heroes and victims of our story. Research has shown that insects like butterflies and bees have higher rates of mutations here. Butterflies with wing deformities or unusual color patterns have been documented. Since insects reproduce quickly, mutations can appear in populations much faster. This makes them excellent indicators of environmental changes. Changes in insect populations can have a domino effect on the entire ecosystem, affecting pollination and the food chain. Microorganisms and fungi, hidden mutations. Time to enter the microscopic world. Believe it or not, some microorganisms are not just surviving but thriving in this radioactive environment. Certain bacteria have developed incredible DNA repair mechanisms, allowing them to withstand high radiation levels. And get this, scientists discovered a black fungus that seems to feed on radiation. It's called radiotrophic fungus. These fungi contain melanin, the same pigment found in our skin, which helps them convert gamma radiation into chemical energy. This discovery is mind-blowing and could have applications in space travel or nuclear waste management. Human impact, the invisible enemy. While nature shows resilience, the human story is far more tragic. Those who worked to contain the disaster, known as liquidators, faced extreme radiation levels. Many suffered from acute radiation sickness, leading to severe health problems or death. Residents exposed to the fallout experienced a spike in thyroid cancer, especially among children, due to radioactive iodine. The psychological impact was also massive. Imagine the trauma of being forced from your home, the stigma of radiation exposure, and the uncertainty of your health. Some, known as Samozli, chose to return to their homes in the exclusion zone despite the risks. Mostly elderly folks, they preferred to live out their days on their ancestral land. Their resilience is remarkable, but the long-term health consequences are still a concern. The exclusion zone today, a living laboratory. Fast forward to today, and the exclusion zone is like a giant, open-air laboratory. Researchers from around the world come here to study the effects of radiation on ecosystems, genetics, and even psychology. It's a unique opportunity to understand how life adapts, or doesn't, to extreme environments. On the flip side, the area has become a hotspot for extreme tourism. People are flocking to see the abandoned city and the reactors. But this raises ethical questions. Is it right to turn a disaster site into a tourist attraction? And what about the safety concerns? Pop culture influence, mutants in media. Now, let's talk about how Chernobyl has influenced pop culture. From horror movies to video games like Stalker and Call of Duty, the exclusion zone is often portrayed as a creepy, mutant-infested wasteland. These fictional takes have fueled myths and misconceptions about the real effects of radiation here. While they make for great entertainment, it's important to separate fact from fiction to appreciate the true impact of what happened. Lessons learned and future implications. So, what have we learned from this tragic chapter in history? Chernobyl forced the world to take a hard look at nuclear safety. It led to improved reactor designs, better safety protocols, and international cooperation on nuclear regulations. It also highlighted the need for transparency. The initial secrecy and delayed response amplified the disaster's impact. As we grapple with energy needs and climate change, nuclear power remains a contentious topic. Balancing the benefits against the potential risks is a challenge we continue to face. The resilience of nature and hope. Amidst the doom and gloom, there's a powerful message of hope. Nature's ability to rebound is nothing short of amazing. Despite the radiation, life finds a way. It's a reminder of the delicate balance of our ecosystems and the profound impact we have on the environment. Perhaps the story of Pripyat isn't just about disaster but also about the resilience of life. So, are there mutants in Pripyat? The answer is yes, but not in the way Hollywood portrays. Radiation has caused mutations in plants, animals, and microorganisms. Some of these changes are harmful, others less so. But it's a complex picture that science is still unraveling. The legacy of Chernobyl is a sobering reminder of the potential consequences of our technological advancements. But it's also a story of survival, adaptation, and the enduring spirit of nature. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the exclusion zone. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more intriguing explorations. Stay curious, stay informed, and until next time, take care.